Roaming with the Russells. This video is kind of like an overdue video because we went there in 2018 over spring break, but nevertheless it's one of these videos that I'd been wanting to do. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. So we flew from DC to Phoenix to go on our way to the Grand Canyon. We couldn't figure out which was the easiest to go from Dulles to Phoenix or to go to Las Vegas. Now there's two different ways you could do it. If you go to Las Vegas, you can do Grand Canyon and Zion. But we opted just to go to Phoenix, and it was an easy 4-hour direct flight, and we got a rental car, and we did a short drive, a 2-hour short drive to Sedona, which is, I recommend that, and it was worth it. Going that way for us. Sedona, Arizona, it's a beautiful drive out of Phoenix. Lots of places to stop along the way, lots of rest stops and places to eat and stuff. And then it turns into desert, and the climate and the atmosphere changes quite a bit. You see a little bit less cactuses and more mountains and clay-like landscape. Sedona has a lot of people who are into earth stuff, metaphysical, crystals. It has a lot of spirituality and stuff. We didn't get into any of that. We just went there and we did a few kind of local hikes around the place, or different local hikes. There's like a national park there, lots of expensive resorts. And we stayed at just a Hampton Inn. We didn't stay at any fancy resorts, but they do have an assortment of different types of hotels. There's different types of trips. A lot of people go there for golf, relaxation, and metaphysical, spiritual type stuff too, yoga, things like that. It's definitely worth it, and we only went there, we spent a day and a night there, so it was just kind of an in and out kind of deal, but it definitely was worth it. And after that, we made our way up to the Grand Canyon, which is about a 2-hour, 2.5, almost 3-hour drive. On the way, we went to Flagstaff, Arizona, which I thought was a really cool place, and we probably could have spent more time there, maybe even spent the night and found a lot of things to do. But it's a good place to get some food. If you need to get any snacks or anything before you get to the Grand Canyon, because after that, things start to get kind of not a lot of places to stop for food and snacks and toiletries or any necessities that you may have forgotten to bring on your trip, or you just want to bring into the Grand Canyon with you. Once we got to the Grand Canyon, first thing we did, it was too early to check into our hotel, is we went right through the main entrance, and we knew we were going to be there an X amount of days, so we got a pass. They have different passes set up for 1-day pass through at least a week pass, and it just gets you, they just wave you in and out. Now, we got in there and it was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and the line to get in there was quite a long time, so people really backed up. Early in the morning, there's no traffic going in and out, but we noticed around 2 or 3, there's tons of people going into the park, probably checking in to their lodges and hotels, and that was probably what that was. So we stayed outside the park. We couldn't get a hotel or a lodge within the park, and that ended up being just as fine, because a lot of those are really nice, and you are on the national park property, but you don't get a free breakfast with your hotel room there. They do have places to eat there on site, but you're there with everybody. We opted to stay outside the park. There's a few hotels right outside that, like about a mile right out there. There's a little small town, and we stayed at a Holiday Inn there, and it wasn't anything fancy or anything, but it worked out. There was a free breakfast. It was a easy room. There's a McDonald's. There was a few. There was a pizza place and a Mexican restaurant, and a steakhouse. A few small-scale chain restaurant places. A little on the pricey side, but you are at the Grand Canyon, so expect to pay for food. But what we did was we got up early the next day, and we went right back to the canyon, and we hit all the areas around the South Rim area, and we did all the Angel Oak Trail hike, the Canyon Trail hikes. One of the big attractions amongst a million attractions, but one of the key things that a lot of people like to see is the Desert View Point. It's about a good 30-minute drive from the main area where the lodges or whatnot are in Grand Canyon. There is a shuttle bus that takes you out there, but it goes out there very sporadically because it is quite a distance. And if you get there early in the morning like we did, we got there around 7:30. You can see the sun coming up, and the view is just amazing. You can climb up in the tower. You can even get a really high vantage point and see throughout. Hear the birds flying through the canyon making noises. It's just something that's hard to describe. And that is a pretty cool place. There's a bathroom there. There's some food there. But again, it's a bit further out. So to do that, I would recommend doing that early in the morning. Again, with the shuttle service, the free shuttle bus services, it's free from March 1st through October. They're throughout the park, and they're only in the park. They won't come out to the areas right outside the Grand Canyon. The shuttle buses are at every hotel, every lodge, hotel, the main visitor center within the park. And with that visitor center, there's this main visitor center, and it's good to see it, to get maps and things like that, but don't spend a lot of time there. Traffic was horrible there, parking was terrible, and we kept thinking, well, there must be something here going on, like a museum site or something there, and really all it is information. That's important to you, yes, go there, get your brochures, but so much stuff you can already do ahead of time online. So it is also a transfer point within the park, so you might change buses there to go to another bus to a different part of the park, but I do not recommend driving around Grand Canyon. If you can park and then take the buses everywhere, do so, because you don't want to have to spend your time driving behind somebody, you can't see anything, stopping and parking in a lot of those areas there. There's no parking. That's another thing we found out, is that parking at some of the more popular vantage points is impossible, and people park all over the place. So the buses are definitely the way to go, and they go all day. And another thing to do there is at night is to go and see the sunset. People go and they get the tripods and they get all the best vantage points. Totally beautiful. Everything's like a picture-worthy, scene. At the hotels there, the lodges, they all have cafeteria-style dining. So they have a lot of these places where you can go and pick what you want to eat, and it's fairly casual, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And we were able to use it for lunch, even though we weren't staying in any of the hotels. It's open to anybody. So that's a nice option to get some food at different times of day if you just want to go get a nice meal or just a quick bite to eat. They do get crowded, and there can be a wait. So that is, but again, at all those hotels and at the lodges, they all have bus stops. So we were able to go from one place and then go to the next with the ease of taking a bus. Something that has to be said, that I don't even know why it has to be said, it should just be implied, but there's been a lot of deaths in the past year and a half that since we were there, from people just not paying attention what they're doing, taking selfies with their phone. This is a national park. There is not a lot of guard gates, there are not a lot of fences around there, and that's for a reason. It would look really awful. Do watch your kids. Do tell your kids to not climb. Do not walk out on the rocks and take selfies. You will fall and you will die. Do not do it. You can get plenty of pictures, but you don't need to be that crazy person out there trying to get the optimal shot and then you fall. On some of the hiking trails, they do get really narrow, and you have to go around mules and things. With a child, if you do have children, have a parent, one in the front, one in the back, because one wrong step and you will fall over. So do use a lot of precaution and common sense. A lot of the trails look like they're really easy, but they are very steep, and if you get down to the bottom, and people do go down and hike down to the bottom. We didn't do that. I'm not in the greatest shape to do it, but it is something that you would have to plan out, and you need to have lots of water, lots and lots of water, your inhaler, snacks, whatever you need. But it does get very treacherous, and it looks like it's going to be a really easy trail, but it does get really steep, and there isn't any side guardrails or anything on any of the trails. And again, that is to protect the natural beauty. This is not Disney World, this is a national park. So keep that in mind, show your respect, do not litter, do not climb on the rocks, and use your common sense. And you will have an amazing time. This is probably the hands down. I've been to several national parks growing up and just with my family now. And the Grand Canyon always is the best, is still my favorite. 3 days was plenty of time for us, but I know we could have probably stayed an extra day and have seen more. Arizona in itself, there's so much to see there. So much stuff to do. So you could definitely make a great trip out of it. If you do go through Las Vegas, you can also combine Zion National Park and Grand Canyon, which I think are about 2 to 3 hours apart from each other. So that is also a great idea if you just want to do the national park stuff. So, you might want to go hit Las Vegas. We ended up going the other way. But whatever you do, you will not be disappointed. I hope this video was helpful. If you like, click subscribe. Have a good day.